Hello there, it's Gabby here from Confidence After Cancer, and I hope this finds you well. This week's podcast is all about surviving tough times, and I don't know about you, but it seems to me so many people going through tough times at the moment. I just wanted to share some thoughts, some tips this week, things that have helped me to survive challenges, no matter how much I try to live in a positive way and work on my own self development, work on my own happiness. There are times when simply can get overwhelmed. Sometimes when it becomes too much. Sometimes when the challenges that we face just seem too much to bear. And what can we do about them? So I've got 10 top tips for you, things that have worked for me and I hope will work for you as well. So I'm going to start with saying, very easy to say, but one, stay calm and positive. I've heard a saying, you've survived most of your toughest, well, all of your toughest days so far in your life. And so no matter how bleak things may feel at the moment, my message to you, and sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional myself because I'm thinking about somebody that I know is going through a really tough time at the minute. And this is the advice that I'm going to give to that person. And it's sent with love and it's sent from the heart and it's sent with my 6 years of experience of having good times and bad times in my life and hoping that no matter how bad things are, my love, there are brighter days ahead for all of us. And I really have to believe that. So stay calm and positive is the first thing I would say to you to do. If you find that difficult to do, I find it easier to listen to something, maybe an audio book, maybe a meditation online, maybe watch something uplifting and positive on YouTube, watch a happy film, a funny film, whatever it is you can do to soothe your mind, okay? Try very much to ground yourself. If you can get a walk in nature, that's another top tip as well. But that's really about staying calm and positive. I'd like you to try and do that if you can. The second thing is, if times are really tough, is to seek support. And connection is a great thing. And I think during lockdown, a lot of us missed that connection that we had. Yes, we can connect with people online, but I'd ask you to be very mindful of the people that you connect with. Are they people that lift you up? Are they people that care for you? Are they people that nurture you? Or are they people that drain your energy? One of my friends used the expression radiators and drains. Some people radiate good energy and they're great to be around and they can really help lift you when you're in a bad place. Other people are drains. They will drain your energy. And just think about some of the people that you spend time with. How do you feel when you come away from them? Do you feel uplifted or do you feel drained? No judgment here. Everyone's got their own stuff going on. I know that. But at the particular time when you are facing tough times, you need somebody who's going to lift you up. You need somebody who's going to support you. And if you haven't got that person in your life, you've got me. If you're listening to this, reach out to me. I'm always here for you. The third thing I'm going to say, and you're probably thinking, oh, no, she's going to say self-care. But I am going to say self-care because when we're feeling tough times, it's very easy to neglect ourselves. I was listening to Mel Robbins yesterday, and she was doing a really interesting podcast about tough times, and a similar theme but different. And she was talking about sometimes it's just too much. The lady she was speaking to had a young child, and she was saying sometimes it's just too much to even wash your face or even brush your teeth. And if you are going through a tough time, self-care can really go out the window. But I would urge you to make time for it. Pamper yourself a little bit. If it is a bubble bath or having a massage, or just some early nights, getting some more sleep, getting some rest, eating some nourishing food that you really enjoy. Think about your self-care. Take your time. Treat yourself almost like you would a sick child. What would you do with a sick child that you were looking after? You would be very gentle. And sometimes we're very harsh with ourselves. We might think, oh, I've messed up. I've created this problem I've got. If I hadn't have done X, they wouldn't have done Y. Try and just for a little while, send those thoughts away and just focus on making you feel good today. Just think about today, making it a good day today. Number 4, I would say to you, is to think about setting some realistic goals. So quite often we can get overwhelmed by thinking, I've got this huge thing that I want to do and I'm nowhere near it. I'm miles away from it and I'm never going to do it. And it's all too much. It's piling up and piling up. So what can we do about that? Well, we can set some realistic goals. We can think about, okay, well, what can we achieve today? What can we achieve in a week? Whatever your goal is, break it down into manageable chunks. Okay. And again, if you need help with that, ask me, ask somebody for help with that. But don't try and think about this unachievable task that you've got as being the answer to the way that you're feeling, because it may be part of it, but actually there is sometimes, you know, I'm a big fan of a notebook and pen. I love just jotting down lists, plans, steps that I can take to get me to where I want to be. Whatever the problem is, think about the steps that you need to take to resolve that problem. And is there something really small that you could do today that's that first step to solving that problem? Which brings me on really to number 5, which is a lot of people that I know are struggling with finances. And this is something I've got a lot of experience in my personal life and in my professional life. I used to be a credit manager. So I've helped a lot of people that have been in debt. I've been in debt myself. I've got out of some tricky financial situations. And Martin Lewis in the UK is somebody that you can follow online. His money saving expert website is fantastic for good advice. But one of the things he said that really stuck in my mind is there is no financial problem that cannot be overcome. And it actually breaks my heart to think that some people actually are suicidal because of the financial problems that they've got. At the end of the day, it's only money. And that's easy for me to say. I know if you're facing financial problems, sometimes they can become all encompassing. They take over your life. But I've got a lot of strategies and tips and techniques for getting out of debt, for managing your finances. And if that's something that you like, send me a private message and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. You know, there is no problem that you can't overcome. It might not be the answer that you want, but there is always something that you can do. There is no financial problem that you've got that should take over your life and make you feel like life isn't worth living. There is always an answer. And sometimes you just need somebody who's been there before to help you with that. Number 6 is sometimes a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to say learn and grow. So if you are facing tough times, if you have maybe done something that has resulted in a situation you're not happy about, it's very hard to do this when you're feeling emotional about it. But a good question to ask is, what is this teaching me? And some of my very spiritual friends will say that if you don't learn the lesson, you will keep repeating the same experience. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. You can reflect on that and think about it in your life. But think about whatever problem you've got at the minute, what can I learn from this? And can I use this to help me grow as a person? You know, I'm 60 now and I'm still learning and growing. And I want to learn and grow. I think that's, for me, is the secret of staying young at heart, is to be curious and to learn new things. I always want to be learning new things. But I'm also always learning new things about myself and the way that I react to other people and people that push my buttons. They call it triggers now, don't they? What triggers me? And again, it's sometimes, if you can, be quite detached from it. It's quite interesting to think, well, why does that trigger me? Why does that person, when they say that or look at me in that way, why does it make me so emotional? So it's really interesting if you can think about learning and growing from a situation that you've got. Number 7 is a really helpful tip if you are going through tough times, is to maintain a routine. And it may be sometimes, and I know myself, and I felt depressed, I didn't want to get out of bed, but it does help. It does help if you can maintain a routine, if you can get up at the same time every day, if you can maintain a routine for your own self-care, maintain a routine for your housework, if you've got housework to do, whatever it is, or even in your job, if you've got certain tasks that you need to do, a routine calms your mind. It really does. In the same way that cleaning for some people is therapeutic. Some people hate cleaning. I've really got to be in the mood for it, but I love the feeling of having a nice clean home. I love the feeling of things being in order. And when I interviewed Emily Faye recently, one of the things she said that stuck with me was thinking about cleaning and ordering your home as an act of self-care and an act of self-love. It's nurturing yourself to look after your surroundings, to know that your surroundings are clean and tidy and in order. And so it almost feels like when I was younger, things that for me were, when I was a child, things were a punishment was clean your room and go to bed early. And now those two things have turned into a bit of a treat. So cleaning my bedroom now, I think I put some nice music on. I use some essential oils that I love to smell. And I really find it a very nurturing thing to do. So maintaining a routine, I think, is good. Number 8 is stay connected. I talked before about seeking support, but this is a different thing. Maybe staying connected, not necessarily asking for support, but being part of a social group or having social relationships is always good for us, because if we spend too much time in our own head, spend too much time alone, sometimes that's when those pesky thoughts can really overtake us, and we can literally drive ourselves crazy thinking about a problem that we've got and thinking that it feels like the end of the world sometimes. So stay connected. Again, stay connected to people who uplift you. Stay connected to people who have got similar interests to you. And, the internet's there for you now. You can find groups and Facebook groups, and you can find websites about all sorts of interests, whatever your interests are. You can find YouTube's another one. It's a great search engine for finding people who are talking about things that would be interesting to you. So stay connected is a great way of surviving a tough time, because it can take you out of your own head and away from your own thoughts that may not be serving you very well at the moment. Number 9 is I've got seek professional help. And this is really for if you are seriously depressed, seriously anxious, if it is affecting your day-to-day life to the degree that you can't function on a normal level, please speak to a medical professional. Yes, I'm a coach, and I've done a lot of coaching. I've done a lot of NLP. I've done a lot of tips and tricks that can help you feel better. I am not a qualified doctor. And if that's what you need and you need to speak to somebody, please do it. Again, it's at the end of the phone or the end of an email. You can get professional help. So if you're feeling in despair, please seek that help that you need. It's much better to do that if you can earlier rather than later, but whatever stage you're at. Okay. And number 10, the last one I want to leave you with is something that can help you feel better if you're going through tough times and you are feeling low, is to give back. I know it doesn't really help you to think there's always people worse off than you. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying, it's good to be grateful for what you've got. You might have issues, but if you've got a home, you've got a roof over your head, if you've got food in your fridge, you are doing a lot better than a lot of people in the world. And there are people at the minute with serious problems, financial problems, or other problems as well. So if you can get involved in giving back, sometimes it could be simple as like going around the supermarket and putting something in the basket at the end for their food bank. You are giving something back to somebody. It takes you 2 seconds, and it can be a small amount of money. It can be a packet of biscuits, but mentally you are connecting with other people. You're giving something back. Now, it could be bigger than that. You might want to join a society. You might want to look after, I don't know, refugees. You might want to look after children. You might want to connect with, there's lots of schemes now for looking after people in old people's homes who may be lonely and got no visitors. There's always something you can do to give back. It doesn't always have to be money. It could be your time and your effort and your attention. But giving back, and again, it takes you out of your own head. It takes you away from your problems and makes you realise, there's a lot to be grateful for. And one of the things I'm grateful for is my listeners and my viewers. So thank you so much for listening to me. If you're going through tough times and you want to speak to me, please send me a message. I'm always here for you. But other than that, I'd wish you a blessed and wonderful week. You know where I am if you need to speak. Stay safe, stay sane. Speak soon. Bye-bye, my love.